How do you get your voice heard? Do you scream on top of your lungs? No. Apparently, there's a method for that. Hi, this is Takatoshi Shibayama, host of the Future Design Podcast. I run a blockchain solutions company, and I'm always looking for new technologies and ideas to improve our lives. In this episode, I have Cynthia Zhai, TEDx speaker, voice coach, and an author of Unleash Your Voice. She will walk us through the 3 stages of building your voice and how to project more emotions to enhance your authenticity. So stick around to the end. So I had many guests before in my recordings, whether it be storytelling or branding, content creation, and I think that the voice, how entrepreneurs, how business leaders, how politicians, or any type of leader of any sort that would go onto stage or speak in front of a lot of people would voice out. That this is the final part of how people get their stories out into the world. And I find that a lot of people don't have the confidence to voice out. And I think it's not because they're not confident about the subject matter, because usually they know more about the subject than anybody else. So it's not easy to just say, oh, you don't have confidence. It's not about that. And so what do you say to all your students or the people that you coach, what it is that you need to have in terms of being able to stand confidently and voice out their message?
Yeah. So the key is that they have to learn how to project their voice because, like what you have said, that most people, especially in Asia and also my clients all over the world, they have never been taught in schools or even when they're in their career, never been taught about how to project their voices. So they have been through all kinds of other training workshops, but never something on voice. So then when they want to project their voice, we go through a few steps to help them change the way that they have been projecting their voice. So for most people, the voice will be projecting from the so-called the throat area and what I also call a head voice because it's only using part of their body. And when we are working on the voice, they don't need to change to another person. They don't need to shout. Some of them that they have the misconception that if you want to project the voice, you have to shout, you have to speak so-called with a loud voice. That is the wrong perception and wrong conception. So what I do with them is we change the way they're projecting from the so-called head to the body. And in its nature, voice is vibration. So we are actually helping them to increase more vibration so that they can speak with us a voice that's audible, that's strong without shouting.
Yeah, I remember when I did my public speaking course as well. This is about 1 year ago. We always been told that there's a lot of negativity in yourself. As you said, am I not good enough? Am I going to make a mistake? Are there people going to criticize me? And there's also something more and more psychological than that, is thinking that maybe I done something in the past that I was laughed at, or something that really shook me negatively, that when I get on a stage, subconsciously that comes out, even you don't know, but it's actually coming out and saying, oh, you start to get stage fright. And
Yes.
I think that a lot of people do kind of have that experience as well, because there's
Mhm.
nobody who never made a mistake in their lives and being criticized or something. So they always told me you have to get rid of that piece by piece, thinking about what are the things that are holding you back, the negative beliefs about yourself, and then
Yes.
try to relieve that so that when you get on stage, it'll be much easier because you're free from all that negativity.
Yeah. So I think it's not only just the past experiences that we had, but also it's human nature. So as a human nature that we are afraid of being humiliated in front of public. So it's just being reflected in different ways in different individuals.
Yeah, and also let's go to the mechanism of the voice. So,
Mhm.
I personally, on a personal level, when I speak to family members or friends or whoever they are, I tend to have a very nasal voice, and I
Mhm.
could really never get used to that or get rid of that.
Yes.
And I had to purposely think about where is my voice coming out from? Is it kind of around here, or is it from here, or is it from my chest? And I had
Mm-hmm.
to really train myself to get that voice from here down
Mm-hmm.
all the way here, so that I
Mm-hmm.
have a more fulfilling voice, a
Mm-hmm.
deeper voice. But a lot of
Yes.
times, when you're on stage, you don't really think about that. You kind of forget about that as well. And I
Yes.
definitely have myself as well, because sometimes when you're really into the talk, you forget about where your voice is coming from, and you kind of like stuck in your head. So
Yes.
what is the type of methods do you actually teach your students about projecting your voice?
Mm-hmm. So that's what we want to do is we want to make voice production coming from the body a habit. So only when it becomes a habit, then when you're speaking, you never need to think about, oh, where is my voice from? So that's what we want to do, which is including, for example, breathing, proper breathing. We need to make proper breathing a habit. We need to make proper projection a habit. We need to make uh, proper resonance, full resonance coming from the body a habit. So all these three steps, they are learning and practicing. They all need to become habits.
And is there something that we can do on a daily basis so that we could remind ourselves that our voice should be coming out from our bodies instead of our throats and
Uh,
nasal?
So what I always tell my clients is that when you're practicing these steps, you are going to separate your daily practice from your normal speaking voice. Because how the voice is going to be changed is interesting, but also at the same time is surprising to a lot of people. So when we are changing the voice production, we are doing the exercises on a daily basis. Usually for my clients, it takes about 6 months to make every step a habit, breathing, projection, and resonance. And on a daily basis, they are doing exercises. They are doing different levels of exercises along the way. And when you do these exercises, it is actually training your body how to project, how to be used. And only when the body is trained, then your daily voice will surprisingly be changed. So some of, not only to some of my clients, but also to our modern human beings, they are also surprised. They said, how could that happen? If I don't do anything in my daily voice, how could that happen? I said, that's how voice is happening. You're not paying attention to the result. You are paying attention to the process, which is training your body by doing these exercises. Then the result will come to you. So it's like we are planting a seed. So we don't plant the seed saying, oh, it's not coming out. It's not coming out. Let me pull it out. You got the result, pull the plant out, but the plant also died. Instead, we are training this plant. We are giving it sunshine, water, fertilizer to make it grow, to create the environment. And when the environment is there, they will grow by itself.
And can you take us through some of the teachings that you actually do to your customers or clients,
Sure.
how they can incorporate this in their daily lives?
Okay. So what they are doing, because it is step by step. So what we can do right now is the first step, which is breathing. So breathing itself has three levels of breathing exercises, and each level is moving you towards making proper breathing a habit. So we can start with the first level of breathing exercise, which is what I call kung fu breathing.
Kung fu
Kung
breathing.
fu breathing, yes. So kung fu breathing is we are pushing the stomach in on purpose. So when you push the stomach in, you should be breathing out. So that's the first thing people want to remember, which is when you breathe out, the belly goes in. When
Mm.
you breathe in, belly comes out, which is the opposite to what most people are doing. So we are going to retrain your body, retrain your diaphragm to make it work in the correct way. And so that's why in the beginning, when we do the exercise, we need to do it intentionally. So what we do is we push the stomach in at the same time, we let the air come through the mouth. And once you breathe out, you don't have air in the body anymore. So your inhale, the inhalation should be automatic. You see the belly comes out. So which is like, push the stomach in, the belly in, and air goes out through the mouth. And then stomach come back by itself because the inhalation is natural. And then you will need to continue with this process. And this exercise, you will need to do at least about 2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of people usually have very short breaths. They don't think about breathing deeply, especially when you're in the office and you're stressed, you're running against time, or your boss is telling you what to do. I mean, nobody's really thinking about their breath. They're thinking about, oh, I have to do something. So, you have to be very consciously thinking about how to breathe all the time to be able to get to that normalized state where you can do that on a habitual basis.
Yes.
And
yes.
and once we get there, what is the second process?
So the second step in the process is to use this proper breath for production, the so-called speak from the diaphragm. But of course, I always tell my clients and students, I said, there's no such thing as speak from the diaphragm. Diaphragm is only supporting the breath. So what we're really doing is we are using this proper breath to support your voice projection. And that's the other step, the second step that people learn. Because a lot of my clients, for example, some of them, they used to be semi-professional singers. So they would tell me, they say, oh, Cynthia, I can so-called sing from the diaphragm. But whenever I speak, it comes back to the throat. So a good singing voice will not be automatically translated to your speaking voice. So we have to learn how to use this proper breath to so-called speak from the diaphragm.
I see. And is there a next step to this? And is it more of a practice-based thing that you try to go out and to the public as much as you can and try to speak this, or is there another step in between there?
No, so this is the second step, but in this step, again, that people are going to separate their daily practice from their daily speaking voice. So some of my clients, they will tell me, they say, oh, when I went back, I tried to use my breath. I tried to push my stomach to speak in my daily voice. And that is actually going to slow down your progress, because everything we're doing in the voice projection process is to retrain your body and create an environment in your body to make the vibration come out easily and fully. So I have to remind my clients over and over again that don't bring these exercises into your daily speaking voice. But you are going to make sure that every day you are doing at least 2 times of practices, each time at least 5 minutes. So they have to do that. And only when you're doing that, you are retraining your body. When the body is becoming open and relaxed, then the sound comes out much easily and fully. So that's the second step, projection.
And is there a third step, or how many steps are there in total?
3 big steps, and under each step, of course, there are also 2 to 3 steps. So the third biggest step is we are going to generate more vibration in the body. So now that this channel is being open and relaxed, and it's easy to project the voice, now they are going to generate more vibration in the body, because voice is vibration. So when they have more vibration in the body, the voice becomes stronger by itself without them shouting, without them trying to use more effort. Because now you have more vibration, means more sound. So that's the third step. And when they do that, the resonance, they also find that their voice is much fuller. It started to be shifted to the body, becomes fuller, becomes deeper. And yeah, that's the third step, what third step can bring to them.
Right. And is there a reason why we can't practice this with our daily speaking activities?
Yes. So the reason is because what I have mentioned, that every step we're doing in the voice projection process is to retrain the body. It is like, for example, each step, the first step, breathing, is like you need to loosen up the soil. So in order to have the seed to grow. And then the second step, projection, is like watering the plant now. So when they have enough water, they will grow. And the third step is like we need to give it sunshine. So all this step is to create environment in your body so that the voice and the vibration can come out easily and fully.
Right. And
So they have to treat this process as planting a seed.
I see. I see.
Yes.
And uh, is there also a way to speak as well? So this a little bit diverges from the voice, but I find some certain people can actually speak better than others. You know, more engagingly, more convincingly, and I find
Yes.
that this is another technique that I find to be very intriguing to obtain because one can speak, you know, in a very monotone kind of way and you know repeat one word after another and it becomes very dull in the end, where some people use a lot of pauses, you know, and group sentences or phrases together so that each time they want to make a point they stop and then they say their
Yes.
point. You know, I think there's a
Yes.
many different ways of speech that we also need to learn how to become a much more convincing speaker. And do you
Hmm.
have any methods that you can teach your clients about this?
Yes. So just now, the three steps we're talking about, breathing, projection, and resonance, they are in the area of voice quality. So voice quality, like if people have a soft voice, high-pitched voice, or trembling voice when they're nervous. So all the voice problems, the majority of the voice problems can be solved when they work on the voice quality. But there's another big voice problem, which is monotone. It cannot be solved by working on voice quality. So they have to work on another area, which what I call voice color. Voice color. So in voice color, they are not learning voice techniques. They are not learning, oh, when do I use higher pitch, lower pitch, stronger volume, quiet volume. No, because I have a lot of clients, they try to work on that. And then as they started to try to work on that, they realize, oh, I sound very weird. I sound fake. I don't feel comfortable. So I said, if you don't feel comfortable, the audience will not feel comfortable. So when we work on the voice color, we are working on the emotions. It's like colors. So colors, we have different colors, blue, red, yellow. And even for each color, we have different shades. So for example, for blue, we have light blue, dark blue, all kinds of blue, ocean blue. So it's the same for emotion. We have happiness, sadness, anger. But even for anger, we have frustration. We have all kind of different levels of anger. And same for happiness, sadness. So we have to work on how to feel the appropriate emotion when we're speaking. And one of the examples I use often was being mentioned a lot nowadays is a speech by Martin Luther King. So Martin Luther King nowadays is these few weeks has been mentioned even more times. So his speech, I have a dream. So he didn't say I have a dream one day, blah blah blah. I have a dream. Come and fight with me. So if he spoke in that way, no one would fight with him because he didn't have emotion. But instead, that speech, if you know, that speech was an impromptu speech. So he didn't prepare that speech. He had a script, but somehow he started to sense the audience and he decided to give up on that first speech he prepared. So he gave an impromptu speech. And in that speech, we can see the emotion. I have a dream. So when we work on the voice color, we have to work on the emotion.
A lot of people talk about authenticity quite a lot, and
Yes.
everybody says you got to be authentic, authentic. But sometimes, you know, that word is sometimes empty if you actually don't know how to do that, right? Because
Yes.
well, it's not
Yes.
about, maybe that's contradictory because being authentic and acting out is very different. But you know,
Yes.
when you're actually sitting or standing in front of people, you do need to emphasize a little bit of more
Mm-hmm.
of your feelings, right? Whether you're angry or you're happy, you have to put in more color, as you say, so that
Yes.
it becomes fuller and people can actually
Yes.
feel it even more. Because sometimes when you're happy, maybe you think you're happy, but maybe that's not really projecting out to
That's
other
right.
people. So you
Yeah.
have to expand a little bit of your emotion as well. So is there a way to give that more color, more vivid colors, so that people can
Yes,
actually see it.
yes. So it is the common mistake that some of my clients, they said, oh, I already expressed my emotion, but it was not obvious at all. So that's why I ask my client to record their practice so that they will see, number one, oh, I am not really expressing enough, not obvious. So number two, in order to be authentic, we are also not exaggerating the emotion. We are developing you as a person to be more expressive. So especially nowadays, we are putting so much emphasis on analytical skills, on our logic skills, but we're not putting enough emphasis on expressing the appropriate emotion. So what I do with my clients is we are exploring how to make them become more authentically expressive. So when they become more authentically expressive, then their emotion will be more obvious.
Yeah, I hear quite a lot that if you're not, you think that people actually respond to logic, but people make decisions based on emotions all the time.
Yes.
And one of the guest speakers that I had was talking about how one person has lost the ability to feel, and he
Yeah.
thought that, okay, then this person is working on logic, so he'll be able to make choices very logically every day. But the result was he wasn't able to make any choices at all. And ultimately, it was the emotions that actually drive people to make decisions, to make the conscious decision about what they want to get out of the speaker.
Yes.
So is there,
Yeah.
it's easy to say show emotion, but a lot of people quite not understand it quite well, or they think they do, but it's hard to bring it out of them. So I kind of think that you need a little bit of acting skills in that sense so that you can project it much better. Do you have a different opinion about that?
Um, the truth is, as a human being, we are already experiencing different emotions. It's just that most people have not paid attention to, and or they are not showing that, even though they had that emotion. For example, there are people, they are angry, but they know anger is not good by our educational system, and so they are actually suppressing it. But these suppressed anger, these suppressed emotions, they're not going anywhere. They are all ticking bombs in the body. So we have to appropriately express it. So what I do with my clients is we practice different emotions. So we even have a wheel of the emotions. So in that wheel of emotions, you can see that all different types of emotions. So we start to experience and explore the emotion that comes easiest to them. For example, some clients, maybe it's anger comes the easiest. Then we practice that. And then from there, we started to expand the range of emotions so that they started to explore different emotions. And we have already having that experience of emotion in our past. So we actually go back to some of our past events to bring back that emotion and relive it.
During this protest times in the U.S., I've seen so many videos of people standing in front talking about how oppressed their lives are and how they're trying to fight back. And I find it very emotional watching this because they have so much emotion on what they're saying, and I know it's authentic. It really comes out because they're really living in that moment and trying to voice out their concerns about their lives. And I wish that I could always speak like that, to be honest. But these protests and these speeches are coming out from really strong emotions that they're being so victimized in their lives, so they need to express that anger and sadness. But let's say you're a business leader and you're talking about a certain product, or you're talking about a certain idea that you want to share with other people. The depth of emotion is not quite the same as the type of people who are out there protesting for their lives. So how do you nurture that kind of emotions in your everyday life so that it can come out whenever you really want it to come out?
Sure. So it is also like the voice quality practice. So expressing appropriate, authentic emotions, our purpose is also to make it a habit. So in order to make it a habit, we have to do some practices every day. And one of the things I ask my clients to do is they can practice the one-liners on the commercials, advertisement, because we know that one line in commercials, it is very powerful because it conveys three things. Number one, it needs to convey a message. And number two, that it has to convey certain emotion. Because if without emotion, then we don't know how this brand is different from all the others. So sometimes I will pick up any magazine in my office. And most of the times you will see the magazines for the first few pages is all watches. And there's so many brands of watches, then which brand are you, if you are going to buy, which brand are you going to buy? It depends on the emotion it is conveying. So that's the second thing, that the one-liner will convey emotion. And the third one, of course, that if that emotion is resonating with you, then you're going to do the third thing, which is to, if you have the money, you will buy that brand instead of the other brand. So that's why practicing these one-liners will help you to express the emotion.
Right. And I find that these techniques are very useful because I think I can use this over and over in different occasions. I do quite a lot of keynote speeches and panel discussions, and of course I'm doing this podcast as well. And I do wonder if I'm really being emotional enough, or am I humorous enough? Obviously I'm not, but I tend to feel like I'm pretty serious when I'm doing all these things, but I do feel like I need to practice on these emotions a lot more because as I go through this life of public speaking, it's important that I do grasp this concept of being able to show real, authentic emotions with a little bit of practice. And people who are also embarking on this journey as well, they would like to know more about what you're coaching people. So is there a way for people to reach out to you and know more about what your methods are?
Sure. So there are two places they can go. One is my YouTube channel. So we are going to hit 40K subscribers very soon. And on that channel, I have more than 130 videos. So each video is addressing one of their voice problems and give them some suggestions. And they can just go to YouTube and search Cynthia Voice Coach. They will be able to find the channel. And the other one is if they want to learn with the step-by-step system to be more clear about what the steps are, what they can do in order to develop a powerful voice, they can download the 3-part free video lessons that I made for them. They can go to my website and they will find that form for them to download on the homepage. My website is powerfulexecutivevoice.com.
Great. Thank you very much for your talk. And it was very useful for me to really practice a lot more on how to speak. And I'm sure the listeners also are really interested about learning better ways of speaking. So thank you very much for your time and insights. Hi, this is your host Takatoshi Shibayama. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Now, if you enjoyed or disliked this show, please let me know by writing in the comment section. The only way I can improve or add value to you is through your voices. If there are any topics that you would like me to pick up, please also let me know in the comments. I'd love to start chatting with you all. And if you would like to continue watching the show, please subscribe. Thank you.